They called him the Lion of Panjshir, the name of the valley in northeastern Afghanistan he defended throughout his life. Ahmad Shah Massoud began to fight when extremely young, first in fact at the age of just 19 against the communist regime of Mohammed Daoud Khan. Then, in 1978, against the Soviet forces who occupied his country for 10 years. 9 times the Red Army tried to seize the Panjshir Valley. 9 times Commander Massoud pushed them back. In the end, he was even recognized by his enemies for his courage and his independence. But his independence angered many. He found himself in strained relationships with foreign powers and with Afghan Islamists. In his last battles, he fought against the Taliban and its Northern Alliance as he tried to warn the rest of the world of the dangers that Islamists posed.
Don't underestimate terrorists. They may be based here, but their influence is spread over the world. Bin Laden is in Central Asia, but he has networks everywhere.
Well, just 2 days later, Commander Massoud agreed to give what would be his last interview. 2 men posing as Belgian journalists were actually assassins, according to some, sent by Al-Qaeda, according to others, by the Pakistani secret services. Well, 2 days after his murder, September the 11th, and the US was attacked and the whole world order was shaken to its core. Well, our correspondents have been back to the Panjshir Valley, and there they met the son of Commander Massoud and met old soldiers who fought against the Soviets in the 80s. They find them proud of the isolated region's independence and its peace, proud as well that it remains protected from extremists and violence. Well, Constantin Simon and Nazir Afzali revisit the valley of Panjshir for France 24.
Salam!
He's been gone for 15 years now. And for 15 years, they've been in mourning. Frozen in time, the image of Ahmad Shah Massoud, the Lion of Panjshir, legendary leader of the Afghan Mujahideen. On his 15th death anniversary, they've come from all over the province and from neighboring regions as well.
I often dream of Commander Massoud. I imagine he eats fruit and this dream tastes like paradise.
He is sorely missed. If he was here, our country would not be adrift.
Suddenly, the crowd becomes uncontrollable. The second in command of the Afghan government, Dr. Abdullah, has come from Kabul. He was one of Massoud's most trusted lieutenants. Their biggest fear? Another assassination by a suicide bomber.
Pay attention to those armed youths there.
People have easy access to weapons in Afghanistan. There are a lot of arms in circulation in this region ravaged by war for 30 years. Among the veterans, a young man stands out. This is 27-year-old Ahmad Massoud, the son of the deceased commander. We leave the ceremony in a convoy with the men who embody the future of Panjshir. Panjshir, the Valley of Lions, a haven of peace in a country devastated by conflict. The Taliban, hated foes of the Panjshiris, are not to be found here. The Panjshiris are a proud and fierce people, just like their commander, the man who pushed out the Soviets in the 80s and the Taliban in the 90s. Today, war is a distant memory. Fruits grow and flowers blossom in the valley. But the Panjshiris cherish the memory of war and their glorious past. If there is one must-visit place in Panjshir, it's the house of Ahmad Shah Massoud. Time has stood still here. The great man is gone, but his shadow is everywhere. His son takes us around the room that served as Commander Massoud's headquarters.
What you see in here, it's exactly the same as it was. When you enter that room, when you enter that house, it gives you that sense of, like, being everything being so real. And my place was always there to sit over there.
and just to see, because I wanted to learn from my father how he's acting, how he's moving, how he's talking, everything. I was always like, so curious about him. I wanted our house and these small guest rooms and a garden to be a part of a museum and to keep it just the way it was during the time of resistance and war, because I want people to connect with those times.
The war might be over in Panjshir, but the Massoud clan is still traumatized by the murder of their leader. These bodyguards used to watch over the father. Now they protect the son.
For them, it's the loyalty, and they're just a portion of a very big community or a very big group of mujahideen, which are beyond millions. If I want them to be with me, they will.
Ahmad was thrust into the spotlight when, as a 12-year-old, he led the Mujahideen at his father's funeral. As the firstborn with 5 younger sisters, he had to give up on his dream of becoming an astronomer to carry on the legacy of his legendary father. The physical resemblance between the two is uncanny. Ahmad might have been educated at King's College London, but the Panjshiris never doubted his future as their leader.
First of all, this legacy, if you put it only on my shoulder, it's gonna be devastating. It's gonna be a super heavy responsibility. But thankfully, this is not only my responsibility, the legacy of my father. It won't transfer only to his son, but to a generation, but to all Afghans, actually to all humanity.
Here the memories of war and the victories remain entrenched in the minds of an entire generation. Panjshir's roads are littered with Soviet tanks, reminders of the Mujahideen's heroic struggle. We met a man who was a part of the band of fighters who managed to repel one of the world's most powerful armies. The former Mujahideen shows us how he targeted a tank.
We shot at it and then it caught fire. There were 13 Russians who burned inside. I was hiding. I looked to see if they were alive or not, if they were going to shoot at me or not. This is the history of our jihad. Today we're still known as fighters. We fought and slaughtered monsters like them, and we remember that fight so that our children won't forget.
The Soviet-Afghan War was the most violent in Afghanistan's history. 1 million people died across the country.
While we fought in the streets, our women and children hid down here. It reassured us to know they were here. We fought to defend the holes, to defend our women and children. There are plenty of other holes everywhere in the valley. The Russians were sending so many aircraft to bomb us. Some days they flew more than 200.
After defeating the Soviets, the Panjshiris, led by Massoud, continued fighting other Mujahideen factions and the Taliban, who took Kabul in 1996. Many here believe they haven't been given credit for their struggle during those long years of war.
We defended the country against all sorts of invaders, but we never received any financial compensation. We buried our children with our own hands and then went off again to the front. But today, those who occupy important positions, during the war they were abroad in Europe and in the US. We're second-class citizens.
After 30 years of fighting, Koko Asgar has swapped his pakol, the famous Mujahideen cap, for another kind of uniform.
Each box produces 5 to 15 kilograms of honey.
A kilo of honey here sells for nearly 13 euros. With 40 boxes, Koko makes a comfortable living.
You won't find honey that tastes as good as Panjshir honey in any of the other 36 provinces in Afghanistan. There is something in the air, in the climate, the wild plants, something mysterious that helps attain this unparalleled quality. So more and more people here are turning to beekeeping. You know, bees are like the Afghans. If they're attacked, they know how to defend themselves.
You don't need to worry. They won't hurt you. I told them not to attack you.
Ahmad Massoud is leading his first political meeting. He wants to soften the image of the Mujahideen, who are seen as warlords. It's a tough task, as he is dealing with politicians twice his age.
Westerners still refer to us as warriors, as violent people, as murderers. I want to show them another image, that we are respectful, friendly, and disciplined.
I promise you 100% that the people of Afghanistan are behind you. We are your soldiers. We have no problem with your age. For us, you are like your father.
I remember after the assassination of Massoud, we met here, but we had nothing more in mind, nothing more to say. Today I met Ahmad Massoud, and thank God it's as if the commander has been resurrected. It fills me with joy. His movements, his manner of speaking, all that I saw in Massoud. I found hope. The country finally has a leader. Ahmad will take the place of his father, I am sure.
Several diplomats and foreign journalists have arrived to greet the young leader.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And congratulations on the wedding. Oh, thank you very much. It's engagement, so...
The French ambassador is present as well. Why are there links between France and Massoud?
Well, it goes back to the time when Massoud attended the French school in Kabul, and above all, the role that French doctors played. Bernard Kouchner, for example, who came to Panjshir to help the Afghan resistance against the Soviets, and who for decades looked after and cared for wounded Panjshiri fighters.
Is there not also a fascination, a certain romanticism linked to the Massoud clan?
Oh, I don't know if it's romanticism, but as you know, in France, we like resistance.
Massoud reminds us that his father was a politician as well, who fought oppression and totalitarianism.
For my father, two things was his main vision. His vision was to truly establish democracy in a democratic system, and to have a fair election. Honestly, I want peaceful, first of all, and secure, free Afghanistan.
He also wants to continue the work his father started in the field of education. This girls' school was started by Commander Massoud in 1999. An act of resistance at a time when the Taliban were waging a war on education. On the school walls, the story of Massoud takes up more space than the rules of mathematics. But thanks to his efforts, the province of Panjshir has become a role model in a country where only 15% of women are literate.
My wonderful students, I want you to understand that Massoud was not a military character, but a cultural and social figure as well. You know that the Taliban did not allow girls to go to school. They whipped those who were trying to study. Massoud, our national hero, open this school where you can study. During the war, children had to study under the trees in the mountains and mosques. But today we have beautiful schools, and it's easier.
The region still remains very rural and conservative. But as the Taliban makes gains across the country, the Panjshir Valley is once again seen as a bastion of resistance. Yet, while Massoud is revered by teenagers, younger children have other dreams.
I'm a fan of Ronaldo and Messi.
I want to be an engineer.
Me a footballer. Footballer as well.
Nobody wants to be Mujahideen?
No, there's peace in Panjshir.
How long will this peace last? Several districts neighboring Panjshir are already under Taliban control. The people of Massoud's stronghold will perhaps one day have to take up arms again. The Panjshiris say they're ready.
Constantin Simon and Nazir Afzali revisiting the Valley of Panjshir for France 24. Well, that's all from this week's edition, but of course you can catch it again and all the previous editions as well. Website at france24.com. More news coming up. Thanks for watching.